What's going on, Hoops Tribe? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Hoops. And things are getting serious. We're having upsets in game one. Upsets. And I wasn't expecting it to be my team. From the outside looking in, we're like, A'ja Wilson just won MVP for the fourth time. Everybody's emotional. This is such a big moment. She's about to come out here and kill it. And not to say that she did, because even on this off night, A'ja Wilson had 16 points and 13 rebounds. She had 4 blocks, but everything around was disheveled. As a team, the Aces looked choppy. Natisha Smith didn't really get going. That matchup between her and Natisha Hiedeman, sometimes her and Aliyah Boston, is proving to be challenging. The matchup between A'ja Wilson and Aliyah Boston is proven to be challenging all season. In this matchup, I think that A'ja has to figure out how to control the contact. She's trying to, but I think that Aliyah Boston has the scout down so well. She knows when to ease back. So when A'ja is attempting to make contact, she's not connecting because Aliyah can move in the right way. And then when A'ja does make contact, Aliyah is ready for it and she's bracing for it. So she's not really able to move her in the way that she moves other people throughout the league in those matchups. So making it easier for A'ja is going to be other people producing offensively. And then it's also going to look like screens. Get her off some screens, free her up a little bit. But overall, I think that they had an off night. Man, A'ja shot 6 for 22, but it wasn't just her. I'm looking at Jackie Young, who was 9 for 16, but some of the shots that she missed were shots that we know that she can make. But the Indiana Fever, to their credit, they made things so difficult. They have really good one-on-one defense, but they also have really good trap defense, and they were putting the Aces in double-team situations. Jackie Young had 5 of the Aces' 12 turnovers. And the fact that Indiana was able to limit Jackie Young's facilitation is something to be concerned about, because when Jackie Young is facilitating the offense, the Aces win. That's just what this season has shown us. So limiting her to 2 assists, the Aces only had 12 assists as a team. I don't think that the Aces can afford to play Kirsten Bell as many minutes as they played her in this matchup. She has 16 minutes. And every time, the Indiana Fever exploited that matchup. Having her on Kelsey Mitchell is a bad idea. Kelsey Mitchell scored 34 points, the most points in WNBA history in a semifinals debut. It's like every time she puts it up, I'm like, that's going in. Damn, that's going in. And while a lot of the offense runs through Aliyah Boston, they can win games off the back of Kelsey Mitchell. Aliyah Boston has 6 points. Natisha Hiedeman had a very strong first half. Ended the game with the double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds. And she's been in these situations before, a true veteran. You think about that, you think about Odyssey Sims, another true veteran, very poised down the stretch. She has 17 points herself. Lexie Hull is such an underrated player. What she does goes under the radar, but she's very disruptive. She won the matchup against Ryan Howard, because I do think that Lexie Hull really impacted Ryan's offense. But she's doing the same thing in Vegas when it comes to Jackie Young. And we look at Jackie Young, her stature, man, Jackie is solid. But when you look at Lexie Hull, she's slim, but she's highly athletic. She's strong, very lean, but those are muscles. She's able to force her way through screens. She's able to get her hands in the passing lanes, get her hands on the dribble. She's making it very difficult for the Aces guards. And when it came down to the matchup, who's going to guard Kelsey Mitchell, I feel like Dana Evans might have done the best job. I think that Jewel Lloyd and Jackie Young have to stay more disciplined when playing her. She's shifty. I mean, you're going to get caught up in the rapture. But I think they have to stay down and not try to go for the steals and just try to stay in front of her as much as possible. Because going for the steal, you reach, she teach. I also think that Brianna Turner gave some solid minutes to the Indiana Fever as well. Overall, Indiana has a squad. Aliyah Boston is living her villain arc. She's becoming a scary player to match up against. Natasha Howard is hungry for an MVP. She didn't get it during the season. Can she get it in the championship? I'm still not coming up off of the Aces have the best roster, but we know that basketball is a team sport, and we know that it's anybody's game. Anybody can be beat. It's about consistency at this point. We felt after that 17-game win streak that the Aces had built that consistency that we can know that they're going to put in that 100% effort. We didn't get that in this game. I think that emotions were high. A'ja just made history as the only player ever in the women's game to win MVP 4 times. And we know that that means a lot to every player in that locker room because of how close-knit they are. There's no excuses at all. But I can see how going into this game can be an emotional ride for them while us fans are looking at it from another perspective. I think that it was a punch in the mouth. We know what happens after the Aces get punched in the mouth. They respond. So I'm expecting the Aces to respond. I'm not wavered in my belief in knowing that they're going to pull through this series. It's not going to get any easier. Game 2 bounce back is quick. Tuesday to really look at that film and see what can they do defensively to slow down Kelsey Mitchell downhill. Because once she gets an inch, once she can see the basket just a little bit, it's OV. And she's turning the corner quick. Who's going to step up and give their last on that closeout? We can't get Lexie Hull nothing. We can't allow her to get in our minds because she's annoying. That's what Aaliyah Boston said. You know, they want to be annoying to slow down A'ja Wilson. And that can happen. We see that. They did it to Atlanta. They had Atlanta arguing with themselves. Right now, the Aces took that punch. We'll see how they respond. I'm expecting a win at home. They need to win at home before flying out to Indiana. There's no way that the Aces can take a loss here. It just can't happen. Looking into the Phoenix Mercury versus Minnesota Lynx, I'm expecting for Minnesota to take this series, so them winning game 1 in their arena is no surprise to me. And in a dominant fashion after being down as much as 13. I was honestly surprised by Phoenix's dominance early on, even though this is what this team is known for. They are bullies. This is bully ball. Alyssa Thomas is a menace, menacingly great at basketball. And I love the fire in her response from Holly Rowe, who after quarter 1 asked Alyssa Thomas about Napheesa Collier's first start and, you know, how well she was doing. And Alyssa Thomas was like, she got to guard me too. Listen, I'm having a great start too. Let's end this interview. I love the energy. She kept it short. Like, listen, don't ask me about nobody else when I just got snubbed. I felt like we know that A'ja Wilson was the MVP this season. That was the right decision. But I also think that Alyssa Thomas should have gotten more votes for second. And I think that she took that personally. I think that she knows that she's going to continue to be overshadowed by the people in front of her. A'ja Wilson, Napheesa Collier. But at the end of the day, Alyssa Thomas is getting things done. And she's one of the best players of all time and arguably the second best player in the league all season this year. So I can understand that fire and I appreciate that. Sometimes we want to be too politically correct and she just kept it real. Napheesa got to guard me too. Phoenix has some questionable shots and that's something that I expect from them because I expect them to lose composure. But at the same time, I know that they can bring home games. But when things start to get tough, specifically when Minnesota starts to put that type of defense on you that we know that Minnesota can bring, you lose composure. Understandably. Not judging you for it. It's just the facts. Kayla McBride, Napheesa Collier, and Courtney Williams combined for 62 points. The Phoenix Mercury as a team scored 69 points. Satu Sapley scored 6 points below her average. DeWanna Bonner gave them nothing off of the bench in 25 minutes. Monique McConney wasn't offensively as productive as she usually is. So all around, you can see the Minnesota Lynx defense was bothering the offensive chemistry of the Phoenix Mercury. Whitcomb off of the bench was a bright spot for Phoenix, but these are the moments where I think back to the DeWanna Bonner acquisition. And I wonder how much that is impacting the flow of the team. She took up 25 minutes and went scoreless in those 25 minutes. What she's able to do on the boards is huge. So I know that she's impactful outside of scoring. But when I look at that, how much does her being in the lineup impact the flow of everything else? How much is that impacting Catherine Westbell, who is getting more minutes before all of this? Them winning in a series has always been a no for me. So I'm expecting for Minnesota to take another win at home. But if an upset does happen, I get it. Because Phoenix is very physical, and defensively, they can get things done. Offensively, they can get in that flow state. They do have that engine in Alyssa Thomas. They have the weapons like Collier and DeWanna Bonner, who, when they are on, it's lights out. And when they're not, and they're struggling like that, it's hard for them to keep composure versus a team that they can figure things out and they're going to gut it out. I don't know if Phoenix can gut it out against Minnesota. So moving into the 2025 WNBA Kia Awards, I'm happy with all of the selections. But I will say that we could have a discourse about Nas Hillmon winning the 6th Player of the Year award, because at this point, I look to her as a starter. She started 17 of the 44 games. And I know that her graduating into the starting lineup is the tell-all for her being the best 6th player. She was such a good 6th Player of the Year that she graduated into the starting lineup. I know, I understand that angle, but for me, I'm just like, is she still a 6th player? I look at Natisha Hiedeman, who's been a 6th player all season, on the best team in the league. Natisha Hiedeman is averaging more points, steals. She has a higher field goal percentage. Nas Hillmon is leading in rebounds. I will also say that I rank Nas's defense and her overall impact on the defensive end higher than Natisha Hiedeman's. So it really comes down to how much do you measure the team success, or how much are you factoring in a team success to what the individual has done. And I think that for me, I always have to look at that, because that's what matters the most. That's what people are always going to come back to. So I'm glad that Atlanta was able to take something home in one of the categories after a tremendous year. And Nas Hillmon definitely being the leader of the team. I think that even from the bench, Nas was leading the team and being that voice to really guide them or wield them through big moments in this season. I talked about this on another episode, but I'm fine with the Co-Defensive Player of the Year awards. I think that the stats are actually close. A'ja only has a 0.4% better defensive rating than Alanna Smith. A'ja's killing in blocks, though. She's averaging 2.3 blocks a game to Alanna Smith's 1.9. She's averaging 1.6 steals to Alanna Smith's 1.3. The basic fundamental numbers of being a great defensive player are relatively close, except for rebounds as well. A'ja is killing in the rebound department. So I understand the code, and I actually appreciate them awarding that, because it's showing the balance of what being a defensive player can look like. Moving into Coach Quinn being fired, I'm not surprised. We talked about it last week. She was in my danger zone, and I hate to see it. It's something that, even though I saw it coming, I still felt for her in the situation, because I really like some of the things that she's done as a coach. 5 seasons with the franchise. I also appreciate Seattle for allowing her that time and to really watch and see what her game plan entailed. And sometimes business is just business and relationships end. Her overall regular season record was 97-89. She was 4-8 in the playoffs. And she had a strong roster. Like, she's had strong roster. She's gone through a rebuild in 2023. After the rebuild year, people expected them to go further than they did, but they were swept by the Aces. But this season, there was regression, although there was a big shift in personnel. We can't ignore Jewell Loyd being out. But I say that again, we can't ignore Jewell Loyd being out, because we also have to think back on what has Seattle looked like optically. From the outside looking in, they look like a troubled franchise. While I commend Seattle for allowing Coach Quinn time, I also think that moves should have been made to get in front of the narrative that has now been created around the franchise, possibly because of things that's happening from the coaching personnel, from the coaching standpoint. Rumors of locker room issues, players wanting out quickly. It's not a good look. And I think that they didn't do a good job at deading that, because reputation matters. And especially when we're looking at growth, the WNBA is expanding and you want your franchise to be attractive. You want those endorsements. You want the players coming into the league to want to come to Seattle. And Seattle is such a beautiful place. One of the best places I've visited in the United States, but definitely when it comes to WNBA teams. One of the best fan bases, one of the best facilities, if not the best facility that I've ever been to watch a WNBA game. Granted, I have not gone to Las Vegas yet. I've been to Barclays, been to Chicago, Atlanta, of course, Dallas, and Golden State was really nice. And they gave me vitamins. I'm going to do a whole video on my experience. But Seattle is a place that is very attractive for the fans, for players, and they have to keep their reputation intact. And I think that they let it go on for a while and maybe a tad too long, although I do commend it and I understand their perspective as well. I'm hoping that Coach Quinn lands on her feet. But what are your thoughts, Hoops Tribe? How are you feeling about Seattle parting ways with Coach Quinn? How do you feel about the Kia Player Awards? Were there any surprises? And lastly, how are you feeling about these semifinals? Did you think the game one was going to go down the way that it did? Who are your predictions for the finals? Let's talk hoops.